moment in history. Take a picture.
Okay. The Paul Nolan Industries, the full scope. Volume 1. It all started on in 1979. Paul Nolan was bored of jacking, so created the full scope. He created a robot that launched a nuclear bomb, the first kind. After that crap, he got lots of attention for his inventive mind. He soon began to create more until he finally created Paul Nolan Industries. There was a rival company, Miyoko's, run by no other than Dimitri Commack, who was Paul Nolan's biological sister. This, this got Paul Nolan's dander up, so he decided to start pain and profane accessories. Dimitri was this, so he decided to hire a slave to work for him. Paul Nolan soon followed with the virtuous idea. Uh, Dimitri, yes, okay, anyways, the Dimitri is pleased started inventing. He invented the wheel, fire, and happy topic. Uh, let's not talk about that. The wheel was a big success as the people of Mesopotamia. How do you? Okay, no longer are caring. Time to turn the page. Paul, Paul Nolan woke up after a well-rested 567 days sleep. A slumber like that had him feeling groggy, so he so he decided to invented scoliosis, which is a well-known STD. He then passed it to his biological Dimitri antagonized, so he recruited her and passed it on to him instead. Xavier discovered. Xavier was pissed that Dimitri for him so harsh that he decided to borrow the 5 megaton nuke that Paul had in 1979. He threw it at speeds up to Mach 5, aimed it aimed at who was almost killed. I'm to turn the page. 1999, the revolution. Dimitri awoke in a cold sweat. His balls were drenched. Soon he realized that he had nuked his entire building, right, along with his invention and his slave, which all but one survived. The surviving slave decided. To enact his fourth very quick to enact his revenge by taking a propane tank and throwing his right forward very quickly. It generated enough friction to cause a fiery explosion and completely level the Paul Nolan industry. Uh, by Dimitri's eyes. Oh wait, no. Headquarters. It was a no fight. He survived, but shut up. And it volunteered to Dimitri because he knew one thing and one thing only. Only he had won the war. Uh, whatever that is, I can't read that. 9/11 2001. Hold up. Let me get seated down. And up until this point, Paul Nolan has officially declared dead by the Mesopotamian government. But but in an unforeseen turn of events, oh, Nolan was found somewhere in the Middle East controlling a terrorist operation. Now, by the date, you probably know what I'm talking about. That's right. It was the Nutty Putty Cave incident. Paul, Paul Nolan. Paul Nolan was hiding, and that cave was Saddam who was his gun, and, Ozma was that. They had an amazing threes. They had an amazing. Uh, Paul in the colors are now Paul Nolan turned into fast zombie and ran from Saudi Arabia to Miami 2 minutes. Upon Paul Nolan's arrival, Dimitri's instantly recognized him and kissed him on the lips. Paul Nolan then turned into Paul Nolan and befriended Dimitri. Oh, 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 ah, oh frick. I can't see anything. The camera died. Okay, there. Seven. Well, for me it did. 17 BCE. The resonance cat. The Hubert Beckham was selling 26 screens and STW
Clap,
uh,
clap,
five
clap.
strings when all of a sudden the mill came out of nowhere. It
Adam, Adam, tease. Sad horn. Cricket.
all right. I was the one
Air
reading.
horn.
Hubert. Uh, Hu- Hubert wrote a story that goes July 7, 2023. I wanted to buy crack the other day, so I went to my local dealer and got crack at a discount. I find that to be the greatest deal of all time. Talking about deals in my deal is a very old and has been in the hundreds of times before we even the cocaine. Well, anyways, as I whipped out my crack, I snorted as much as I can. It was 500 million another paycheck, so I could get the cocaine hider dealer. Love him. Wish I could have hardcore gay sex with him. Hubert is a homosexual, aka cat boy. That loves. Oh yeah, Commack. This is seen as a nation because Hubert is a homosexual, aka cat boy. That loves dark people and the NYA word. It proves the theme that of have enough toe cheese. Anything is possible. Some guy. Anyway, Hubert was in a drunken stupor and walked across the Atlantic Ocean and somehow ended up in rural America, where he met four dudes and then committed genocide. All right, you ready? Are you ready for page 6? One day, while Paul and Dimitri were playing Minecraft, when all of a sudden Hubert hit the wall and got splintered parental lobe. Hubert was this. He got railed in the railing. Paul Nolan constructed something which caused him to turn into Paul Nolan once more. Hubert was traumatized, pulled the splinter out, and beat his bladder. Paul Nolan decided to assert his dominance and be the one and true alpha. Hubert took him down easily, though, because Paul Nolan became too cocky, even though he needed cocky without the Y at the. Dimitri was so befuddled that he ran away like a little monkey. Hubert ran faster than the Usain Bolt with his cocking until the police operated and sent him to the gulag. Okay. Hubert had gone insane in the gulag only after 43 Zephyr. In the meantime, a group of dudes named Task Force 101, a 141, came to the rescue him. Hubert was identified as prisoner 627. Hubert is that guy that looks like the crackhead to the left. The Task Force 141 rescued Hubert and brought him to London, aka Hell on. This image is this image is Hubert getting shanked by the local population. While while getting caught up in those shenanigans, Dimitri is the sister of Paul Nolan. Paul were making babies. They were in all kinds of positions, like doggy style. The fetuses that shot out of the on syndrome, up syndrome, sideways syndrome, northeast. Paul Nolan was so shocked that he took matters into his own hands to get rid of these foul beasts. Paul smoked all of them in a matter of microseconds, and he was Dimitri was distraught. Dimitri decided to leave on an expedition to get milk. Paul Nolan was just depressed after that. Paul Nolan suddenly remembered that he still had a company, so he constructed a fortified compound under the compound in question. Paul Nolan invented Nerf guns and IED while his slaves were having fun shooting each other. Paul was finding the perfect way to assassinate Dimitri. Didn't they just have sex last age? Had a uh, pretty good plan. He even revived and hired Lee Harvey Oswald to do the shooting. Except there was one major flaw. Lee Harvey thought that the Nerf guns Furia test laser gun futurist. I mean, because of the bright colors, which meant he grabbed one instead of the real sniper. Uh, Dimitri in a convertible car at 9:78 p.m. when all of a sudden shots were fired. Lee Harvey soon realized that the gun took was a toy, and he ran fast so that some guy he's so fast that some say that he or maybe he jerked off to rocket boost himself. But nonetheless, he ran fast as F word. As soon as he uh yeah, right at the compound. Oh, okay. Oh, look at this fine printed. I know I know most of this story necessary. I know most of this story seemed retarded, but all that changes here. You see up until now the story has been pretty tame. You might pretty tame. You had sex with your sister, man. You might think that, but I am truthful when I say that Hubert, high on ketamine, running with his cock out was mild. What? So anyway, so anyway, let me tell you the final chapter of Volume One. Everything that happened in 4 years. Okay, chapter. Wait, Call of Duty. Right? Oh. Chapter 8 and chapter 9 was unnecessary, so the story will continue from this point. Huber and Task Force 141 have been working to take over all of the UK. Since they own one great nation, they now have much more. But in the current day, two people are 1v1ing on Rusk. Their names are Nolan and Colin. Nolan and Colin. Oh, okay. Their names are Colin and Colin. God. they're trying to settle a rivalry that has lasted ever since Colin, the one in the phone, was caught jerking off to Skibbity Toilet in Max Design Pro. This is him. This is him, by the way. Totally. This angered Colin, the high one, so he decided to come to his house and impregnate Dad. 5 months later, Colin finally noticed really mad at Colin. He prayed to the gods of Skibbity Toilet that he kills him, which is why he demanded they 1v1 on Rusk. Now, based on the description of both of these important characters, you would imagine that Colin would win, because he did. Colin later found Hubert at 51 degrees 3011 north, 0 degrees 0148 west, about 50 feet underground, because he is a river. But anyway, Colin found him. Now, there's no illustration here. This is all text. This is and then decided to rescue Hubert. Hubert coughed a whole lot, but was good 1 minute, 27 seconds later. In the meantime, Dimitri has gone on the wildest adventure. He went from Mesopotamia all the way to Barbados. There he, there he body of Nolan Paul, and Dimitri got Paul Nolan because they two exactly alike. Dimitri was depressed for a moment until he knew what needs to be. Find Paul and apologize for the sudden departure. 42 minutes after Dimitri found the body, Paul Nolan decided to put Operation Jizz into motion. Hmm. He used the IEDs he created 4 years ago to set up a trap, which was a landmine in front of the old house because he knew Dimitri would return to there. The trap he created uh, supposed to be perfectly calculation IED of Dimitri's urethra, which then will explode, turning Dimitri up. How can you turn autistic? Uh, uh-huh. Uh, Paul, Paul, Paul thought this was 1,091,263 IQ plan. If Dimitri didn't align himself with the exact atom, it could shoot up his butthole and dead because reactor number two to explode. Dimitri was swimming across the Atlantic when he saw Colin riding with Hubert in a boat. Hey, you, N word. Let me in, let me in, let me in. Shouted Dimitri. What's the matter? I did not write. No, I did not write the. Replied Colin. And you say, replied Dimitri quickly. And, one. Let me. I'm gonna. I'm chance. He was right. So the two left him on and proceeded to row all the way back to Mesopotamia. Paul Nolan was in the middle of jerking off and realized the time. Egad, it was 13:193 p.m. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation. Ah, 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 ah. Shouted Paul because he was horrified that he might not cripple Dimitri in time. Paul Nolan rushed to see if his trap was still working. He installed security cameras so he didn't run all the way over there. He was relieved to see that the trap was still there, but he noticed something in the distance. Uh, good, we're almost to the end. We're on. Yep. Something I forgot to mention is that the old house of Paul and Dimitri was located on the N-word shoreline, next to the P. Didn't- oh, okay, okay. Next, next to PP Creek in Norway. Anyway, the thing he saw in the distance was Dimitri, Colin, and Hubert. This utterly befungled jungled Paul badly. The reason why he was befungled jungled was because his only target was Dimitri. He never intended to harm Colin or Hubert. This prompted Paul to deactivate immediately, even though he spent all this time perfecting, because he understood the value of friendship and autism. Uh, uh, Paul ran quickly away, about 14 minutes and 30. As soon as he got, Colin greeted him, gave him a foot job for no reason other than to be historically. Hubert said, "Hey," and Dimitri was at a loss for words. Yet he hadn't seen the beauty of Paul in years. Dimitri was glad to see him. That they wait. This was a romance. What the hell? This book uh, for 12 hours. Then they the legacy of Paul Nolan industry. But in 2011, on February 30th, on a day that doesn't exist and where I wasn't even born, a disaster struck. The drug that sold the milligrams of cocaine came back. The cocaine dealer and ransacked the place and destroyed it. Paul and Dimitri must do something. To be continued. Cocaine hider dealer. And this is the bat. Uh, the one hard-tailed Dimitri, Duck's Matter, and the writers. Nolan. Oh, yeah.